welcome to the Vibrant Life podcast. This is the official podcast of the Vibrant Life community. I'm Sarah Nolan, and I am an energetic management advisor and a burnout prevention coach for high performers like business owners and musicians and speakers and authors and really all the people who are out there making a difference in the world. I help people to let go of the stress and the chaos and come back into balance and centeredness and groundedness and really enjoy life to the fullest while you're making a huge impact. So I'm super excited to see you here today and be here with you this evening. Let me know in the comments what you are celebrating today. What are you celebrating? Could be something small, could be something big. I almost prefer to hear the small things because it's all those small things that make up the big stuff. Something I'm celebrating is I figured out how to get Facebook Live working for me all the time. It was just this little small issue with my audio settings. I figured that out, and that's actually going to save me a lot of money because I was going to use a service to go live with instead of this, and now I can just do this. So super simple, and that just like made my whole night. So I'm excited about that. So let me know, what are you celebrating? I want to celebrate with you. We can all celebrate together and have a big party. All right. So tonight we are talking about rising above the obstacles as you're leveling up. We're talking about this all week. So far this week, we've talked about the haters. We've talked about imposter syndrome. Tonight, we're talking about fear of success. These are all obstacles that come up when you are leveling up. And they're things that stop most people. Most people, they get into new territory. And they don't fit. They don't feel like they fit in that new territory. And so a lot of people get scared. This is me. I would get scared and run away, or not even consciously, like unconsciously self-sabotage, like doing stupid shit that makes everything break and fall apart. And then, you go back, starting things over. All these things come up as you're leveling up. And so I want to help you get to the next level so that you can help as many people as possible and like fulfill your mission and live this awesome fulfilled life that is your purpose for being here. All right. So tonight we're talking about fear of success. Is this something that you have ever felt consciously? Like, have you ever been aware of the fear of success? I was never aware of it until I had really fast success. And then I wasn't even aware of it until I looked back on it and I was like, wow, I was really afraid of that success, and I kind of sabotaged it, and then I rebuilt some things and made it better. But that was it would have been nice if that didn't happen, if I had known about this stuff. So in Recharge, this is like one little, we do this stuff all the time in Recharge. This is just like a tiny, tiny portion of it. And I want to be able to help you with this evening if you feel like this is something like you are leveling up now and you maybe have been feeling some fear of success and you feel like that's something that has been stopping you from like putting on the gas. Like most people, when they get to that breakthrough point, it's like right before the breakthrough, they push on the gas, they push on the brakes, and then everything just stops, and it's like deer to headlights. And then they either retreat, they just stay there, they go in a different direction, or they move through the fears and then they step over into the next level, which is really just like one step away, or like they say 3 feet from gold. So when you feel this feeling of fear of your success, which is super common, it's one of the most common things that I hear high achievers talking about, even though, you've had a ton of success already, but like, what would it be like if you really became that person that you can become? The higher you rise, the more you have to fall, the further you have to fall. Oh, Carolyn says, I'm so here right now. I've been holding myself back lately. Yeah, that's so common, Carolyn. And I'm so glad you're here because I hope that this will help you. Um, so, what I do, when I get to a new level and it's uncharted waters, totally new territory, I don't feel comfortable, right? I have to like reacclimate to something new. It's like being in a new country with a new culture, a new language. Every new level, have you noticed that has a new language? You like have to talk about yourself differently. You have to talk about your business differently. You have to talk about everything differently. There's new people at the new levels, right? It's like going into a whole new country, new language, new time zone, new surroundings, and you have to like get get your bearings straight. Um, and so when I get to those points, these are a couple things that I do. One is I think about, okay, what is the worst case scenario? What's the worst that could happen if, I actually did achieve this thing? And I've kind of seen the worst myself, which is kind of a blessing at this point because I know now it's like I have everything that I need to be able to handle that again. And it wouldn't even happen because I just have more experience. But think about and allow yourself to be in the space. Allow yourself to stand in the darkness for a moment. You don't need to stay in the darkness. You don't need to dwell on the fears. You don't need to like stay there, but allow yourself a moment to be in that darkness and explore it and find out what is going on there. So what is the worst case scenario? And as you look at the fear in the eyes, you take the power away from the fear. As you look at the fear in the eyes, you take the power away. You say, I see you and you have no control over me. And the fear just like turns away and goes the other direction because the fear knows that it has no power over you, so it's wasting its time. All right. So it's so important to be able to be with the fear and look at it and look at it objectively. Um, think about, what's the worst case scenario and just be really honest with yourself. Is it what people will think? Letting people down? You can't handle it? Money's evil? Like, all of these things come up, and it's going to give you really good insight as to what has been lurking beneath the surface. And when you get these insights, it's like, oh, gold mine. You can do something about it. If you avoid the fear and you try to like gloss over it, then you can't do anything about it. And it's still going to be there, right? It's always going to be there until you actually do something about it, until you release it. And the best way to release fear is energetically, because you get to the absolute root cause of it, the absolute root level of that fear, and you release it, and then it's gone. And then you have this freedom that you never had before because you've been carrying this fear around for a lifetime. Um, and it's your deepest insecurities. It's the things that people said to you when you were very young in the first 6 years of life. Your teachers, your parents, your grandparents, your aunt and uncles, cousins, siblings. They're not things that they intentionally taught you, but it's the way they were taught, and then their parent, the teachings of the generations, just land in our lives and create these stories that come up every time we're pushed, every time we're like squeezed as we enter this new territory. So Carolyn says, doubting and sabotage, I'm not feeling as stuck anymore thanks to your session last night. Awesome. So Carolyn is in the inner circle, and every once a week, currently it's Monday, we do these group sessions. I lead these group sessions, and they're energetic upgrades. And so this is an amazing support for anybody who is in my program. And this happens every week. And so Carolyn's just saying that energetic upgrade helped her to not feel as stuck anymore, which is, I mean, that's huge. So congratulations, Carolyn, and congratulations on making it and doing that work. Using more of my tools, I'm so grateful that I learned from you too. Awesome. Being compassionate with myself as I'm learning. Yeah, you know, it's really simple stuff, that helps you to move through this. It's not anything complicated. It's just some simple tools and working on an energetic level to get to the deepest root causes and moving past them and getting clear on what exactly is that fear. One of the most common things I see, which I just mentioned, is letting people down. And that's gonna, if that's affecting you as you're leveling up, it's going to affect you in all of your relationships with your kids, with your marriage, with your employees, with your partners, with your board, everything. Everything. You can't escape it until you release it. You can't handle it. How many other things is that affecting you as well? Money is evil. Like if you have this goal of generating $200,000 a month, and on a deep level, you also have a story that says that money is evil because that's just something that you were taught at some point, then you are not congruent. You have this inner conflict, and that story is never going to allow you to reach or maintain that $200,000 a month. It's not going to happen until you change the story. And it's not just like changing the story, like telling a new story. You have to get to the level that story is residing, because you can consciously tell a new story, which you probably have done already. You've probably told yourself a story that's different than money is evil. But if unconsciously, if deep down at the core level, you still have that story, which you may or may not know because it's subconscious, then that story is going to influence everything that you say, do, think, and be. Let's see. Crystal says, how have you forgiven other teachers who felt threatened by you and told you to sit down? That is an amazing point, Crystal, that other people, as you level up, as you elevate yourself, as you rise up, other people are going to feel threatened because you are surpassing them and you are becoming bright and big, and it's more than they can handle. And so some people are going to try to, out of their discomfort, they're going to try to hold you back or even bring you down. And that's like kind of goes back to that first episode a couple days ago where I talked about the haters, right? That's a lot of what's going on with the haters and the trolls and all that stuff. And we have haters and trolls in our like real lives too. And when that happens, just stay in your lane. Who cares? Like, don't pay attention to them. Pay attention to the trigger, right? Pay attention to the feelings that come up, and then do your grounding, your balancing, your releasing, and maintain your own energy. It's so important to have the ability to manage your energy as you're leveling up, to be able to work through all these things without it bringing you down. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You can't get around that, but it doesn't need to bring you down. You don't need to get stuck in it, right? You don't need to get stuck in it. You don't need to get in that funk that lingers. So imposter syndrome. It's really just about fear and an incongruence inside of yourself. And so if you want to learn more about this, and if you want to actually do something about it and go beyond just what we talked about today, which is just a little snippet of the big picture with it, then let me know and I can show you the next steps to getting set up with the tools and the processes and the practices that help you to stay on top of your game as you're leveling up. And like Carolyn said, getting out of that stuck feeling, like you can do that. You have control over that. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to do that and I can give you the next steps. And thank you so much for joining me. Tomorrow, we're talking about family. And that's kind of like what Crystal brought up. When family can't handle the new version of yourself. That's like exactly Crystal is, she had a premonition with our next topic. All right. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. And we will talk to you soon. Let me know if you have any other questions. And yeah, talk to you tomorrow.